Welcome to We Geek Podcast, episode 172. Today is August 20th. My name is Adam, and I'm, as always, joined by my good friend Logan.
Yeah, hello.
And it's been a few weeks. I apologize for that. I've been crazy busy. And dude, broke my phone over the weekend.
The one with no battery?
The one with no battery. Actually, it was, it's been about, it's been hectic. So it broke. I thought, okay, it would still work, blah, blah, blah. Whatever I did to it really killed the battery. It really killed the battery. So I got a new phone. It's been a rough week. Just when one thing happens, another thing happens. The car, the phone. It's like, okay, I'm getting my car all fixed up. Everything's great. Cross my fingers. And I'm the kind of person where when stuff like that happens, I tend to like, all right, I'm just gonna stay home. I'm gonna be a homebody. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna spend any extra money I need to.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And then my phone goes, and I'm like, well, I wrote it so the wheels fell off. So, but yeah, it's not working. But a good thing is you can go get like an iPhone 7 for $50. So that was my week. So how have you been, man?
The same old work. I've got my first kidney stone last week. That was pleasant.
I can't complain at all.
It's a thing of like, it really hurts at first, and then I was lucky because I was actually on my way back from work at night, and I was still on the road, but I was like 2 minutes out from the house, and I was like, what is this? Like, I got that pain in my side, and I was like, this is not a muscle. What is this crap? And I got home, and I was like, well, maybe it's just gas. And then it was like, no, it's not gas. So it was that pain of like, it hurt so bad it made me sick. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to the emergency room. I can't stand going to the emergency room. I hate hospitals, but there was no question. It was like, nope, going.
Yeah.
And, they took me in, and they were like, does that hurt? And I was like, I'm gonna punch you in the face. You tell me, does that hurt?
Yeah.
And it was, not a fun way to spend the night. And they were like, here, take this medicine and pass it. It's a kidney stone. I was like, okay, great. And that was like a week ago in a couple days, and it hasn't passed. But I've got an appointment with a urologist on Monday. So it's like, it's just not fun. It's not as bad as it was that first night, thank God, because I would be putting my head through every wall I could find.
They give you stuff for the pain?
They did, and it works okay.
Yeah.
It's really just more like discomfort than anything, in a way. And that's to me, that's kind of worse. Because that I know is just not going to go away until this eventually goes away. But so, yeah, that was fun. Spent a few hours at night in the emergency room. Went out, got my prescriptions filled, got 3 hours of sleep, and then went to work for 10 hours. So
oh no!
Yeah, that was a fun day.
Nightmare. Oh man, that's my nightmare. Oh, whew. Yeah, I know it's coming. Like I drank way too much soda in my life for it not to happen.
No, it's same.
Yeah, and
Just stay hydrated. You'll be fine. Drink lots of water.
My biggest fear is something like that, or like, what is it? What erupts? Is it what's the organ that just suddenly erupts?
For the appendix.
Appendix, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll know it, right? Like, because my fear is that I'll just be like, oh, it's just a cramp, or it's just just like I imagine you don't want to go to the hospital. You'll avoid it at all costs.
No, but this was like, no, this is pain.
You had to. Gotcha.
Like it's oh no, you'll know. Believe me, you'll know. It's not like, oh, this kind of hurts or this is kind of bad. It started out that way, and I was like, well, I'll go home, just cut one real bad, and I'll be fine. And then when it kept, and the thing is like where it was like, I know this isn't a muscle because I've pulled muscles and had cramps in my side before. I was like, this is not that. It's not in the center. Like, so I know this isn't like gas or anything. It was buried in my side, And then as it just got worse and worse and worse, I was like, no, this is because the appendix is what I was worried about, but it was on the other side. But
Gotcha.
that was my first thought once I was like on the floor. I was like, this I gotta go. Like, this is bad.
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you'll know. You're not gonna mistake that and be like, well, just let this pass, see what happens.
Right.
No, you're gonna be like, I need to go to the hospital.
Ooh, yeah. Oh man. Well, I hope that passes soon. Now you're doing a little bit better.
Yeah.
It stinks. It's uncomfortable, but yeah. Woo. Yeah, it's been a few weeks. Yeah, I gotta get my schedule nailed down. Man, work's making it just so hard to do anything. But it's been a few weeks. We got some news. We got some movies. We got some video game stuff. We got what's happening right now? Isn't it? It's Gamescom, right?
Gamescom, yeah, happening as we speak.
Yep. And I saw some cool stuff for like Battlefront and stuff like that. It's interesting. But yeah, man, let's start. What movies have you seen? Let's talk about that first.
What came out 2 weeks ago? I saw Scary. I basically saw everything that came out week before last. So whatever came out like the 16th.
Okay.
Which was Scary Stories, which was good.
Oh, good.
There was. Give me a minute, and I'll be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Because there was. Oh, I can't even remember.
I think Good Boys was the 16th, right?
Yeah, the only thing I've seen from this week was Angry Birds, which was way too damn funny. There's no reason that movie should have been as funny as it was. It's ridiculous funny. It's not joke funny. It's just the thing of like, am I really watching this kind of funny.
That's cool.
But I enjoyed it. What did I see? Oh no, this week was the 16th. Never mind. So let's go back a week. Scary Stories. I saw the
You saw Dora the Explorer?
I did, as a matter of fact, and I will tell you what, that is a damn good movie.
Yeah.
I went into it thinking like I'm going to enjoy this with like the highest level of irony. And I'm going to tell you what, you take it at its own merit, it's a good movie. You put aside all the things that don't make sense because it's a kids movie, and it's a really freaking good kids movie. I was honestly surprised. I did not expect to legitimately enjoy it, but I did.
Yeah, and I mean, to skip ahead just a second, the main actress from that is going to be in real time, right?
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Did not have that on these notes.
I believe so.
Huh.
My mistake. Okay, so she's not Dora, but she's in Dora the Explorer. Right?
Yeah.
Natalie Madden, yeah. Okay, so I had no idea he was in Dora the Explorer. I heard this in a Wheel of Time podcast where they were talking about the most known actor that was cast was in Dora the Explorer. So, which is cool. I think that's awesome. I like that there are a lot of unknown actors in that show. But anyway, we'll get to Wheel of Time in a little bit. But that's good. I had zero expectations for Dora the Explorer, but it's good to hear that it's a good movie.
Yeah, if you've got an hour and a half to kill, you could do worse. Really.
Yeah.
There's and I'm sure you've seen the trailer probably 1,000 times, either on YouTube or on TV. The part where Michael Pena is like imitating rave music. That's a track listing for the soundtrack, but it hasn't been released yet. And I'm bummed about this because, like, in the trailer, it's like a 6-second clip. It's like 45 seconds in the movie of him just like imitating rave music, and it's fantastic.
Oh no! See, I haven't even seen that. I think I might have seen the trailer once.
It's been playing, and of course, it plays before like every movie. So I haven't
been to the theater. I gotta go.
Yeah. I've seen it like 12,000 times.
Yeah. The one movie that has been a stickler that every time I go to try to see, something happens. my car, or just something happens, and it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I want to see that movie so bad.
It's good. It's long.
Yeah,
It's long and it's very narrative driven. It's
but
not.
that's what I want. I'm in the mood for a Tarantino film right
Yeah,
now.
it's more. It's not a. It's not the blood and guts Tarantino that I think
Oh no,
like teenagers are expecting when they
that's
try to
not what I'm
sneak into it.
expecting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's very much not. It's more. It's way more the storyteller Tarantino.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
great.
I want to hear a fairy tale in not a fairy tale. That's not the right word. I want to hear a story in Hollywood that's obviously not exactly true, but it's it's hard to explain what I'm saying.
No, but I
I,
get what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, I want to go watch a Tarantino film. I love his interpretation of Hollywood and stuff like that. Just listening to his interviews or anything else like that, you can tell he is obsessed with Hollywood.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to see. I want to spend 3 hours of just watching these two characters spend their day in Hollywood. That's totally my expectation. So yeah, man, I've been wanting to see that for like the last couple weeks now, and it's just every time we went to go see it, and then of course the person I was going with, she backed out specifically for the reasons you're giving. Like, it's a long movie, there's not a lot of action. Let's go see something else. And I'm just like, this is what I want to see. But I don't know. I'll see it. I'm hopefully sometime this week, probably Friday. But yeah, man, anything else you've seen?
I saw The Kitchen, which was disappointing.
Oh, okay.
It's the kitchen would make is definitely an idea that would make a much better like limited Netflix series.
Okay.
And you can tell that watching the movie because it's like here's the inciting incident. Okay, great. And now this movie is going to spend time building up to when they run. Oh no, wait, they run shit now. Like, where was all of this? Like, they in the service of getting to where they have to be at the end, they hit like all the different high points, but skip so much build. It's definitely, as you watch it, you're like, but wait, I wanted to see like everything that should have just happened, which would take
Oh, wow.
like 2 whole episodes. So it's a great idea. The casting is great. Everyone that's in it does a fantastic job. You can tell it's just because of how much they have to jump. I guess because that was how they decided to make the movie. It leaves so much of the interesting stuff out. Like, here are the elements of like how they built everything up. Here's what happens in this stretch of time. Here's this particular backstory. Like, there is so much that you want to see explored that there's just no time to do. But
That sucks.
yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good premise. It's just a not quite 2-hour movie was not where to go with this.
It's got 22 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's, I mean, I get it. I think it's a little harsh, but I get it.
Yeah. I heard Good Boys is pretty good though.
I'm telling you what, Good Boys overperformed like crazy. Nobody was expecting the crowds that it got.
Yeah.
Which was unfortunate for the staff that we had, but it was just a matter of it's projected to do like 12 million or something. So it's like
There's not a lot of movies like that anymore. Like when I saw a trailer for Good Boys, I was like, oh, this is kind of getting back to like. It looked to me like more of like a Judd Apatow or like a Hangover or like that kind of film.
Right. This kind of struck me as like Superbad meets The Hangover.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Superbad. That's I don't know why my
yeah.
like yes, exactly.
Like, that was just the vibe of like Superbad but raunchier is what it kind of seemed like to me. And I was like, we are gonna get so hammered for this. No, it'll be fun. Do like 12, maybe 15 million. I was like, okay. And it does like 21 million.
Right.
It's like,
well, it's very different from everything else. I mean,
it
you
is.
look at the theater right now. It's it's all sequels and remakes and big blockbuster movies like that. It stands itself out, and
Right, and like nobody's going to see Hobbs and Shaw anymore. Like that's done. Uh, Angry Birds 2 was not something people were really excited about.
right.
People are, 47 Meters Down as a sequel did, I think, better than they were expecting.
Oh my god, I've seen some tweets about that movie.
I haven't, and I'm not sure if I want to go anywhere near it or not.
Oh my god.
I just here's
Apparently a fish screams in that movie.
Okay,
I saw
well,
a critic on Twitter
now I have to go see it.
trying to get confirmation that that's what they were going for. Like apparently they talk underwater with no walkie-talkies to each other.
Okay.
No, like there was, I don't know, I haven't seen the movie. Apparently, like there's no like, they don't spend a second, like, in movies like this specifically, all they have to do is show some magical device they put in their ear and suddenly they're talking to each other, right? Like a radio or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though they're underwater, they do apparently no setup of them talking to each other underwater, explaining that. Like Aquaman. Woo.
I'm sorry, you had me at screaming fish. Like, I'm in now. Now I want to go see it.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, Scary Stories is still doing pretty well. That's drawing a lot of the, we know we're not going to be able to sneak into Good Boys, but we still want to go see a scary movie crowd.
Yeah.
That and 47 Meters Down are kind of splitting that crowd, where it's like it's a PG-13 scary movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apparently one of them is scary for all the wrong reasons, though.
What do you mean?
Well, if 47 Meters Down has screaming fish, I mean...
Yeah, it was Chris Struckman that tweeted. He used to be like on Collider and all that stuff. But yeah, he's like, a character at one point mentions that the radio signal is blocked by the pillars underwater, but again, the mask doesn't cover the ears, only the faces. Like he's like, I have questions for the filmmakers. And he's like, they aren't suggesting that we hear with our faces before I review this. Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know. That just seems like one of those movies that is, like Crawl or something like that. That's just bad.
Yeah, well, tell that to Rotten Tomatoes, will you? Because Crawl still has like a fucking 70-something%. And how?
Maybe the studio got a bunch of critics to go see the movie, gave out some candy. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. How does that happen?
I don't know, because the movie is awful. Like, I mean, it's like riff tracks awful.
Right.
It's I'm sorry, it's bad, but at least you can have fun with it. I get a lot of what they were going for, and I was really, really rooting for it. Especially with Raimi and Aha on board, but it's just bad. It's and I mean, I enjoyed watching it because it was bad, and had a lot of fun with it because it was bad.
Yeah.
But it's like, and then I look at the tomato meter and I'm just like, hang on, what the hell movie did they watch? I want to see that cut, because that was not what I saw.
Right.
The one thing I will give Crawl, though, they did gators justice. They did. Like, they're actually fairly good representations of how alligators would act.
Yeah, I saw a video online yesterday. This has something to do with it, I guess.
Oh, is this the fence climber?
Yeah, the fence climber. And I was surprised so many people didn't know alligators can climb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess we live in Florida, or you lived in Florida for a while, so like we know about alligators.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. They're they're like, oh my god, they can. It was like a raptor opening a door moment for them.
Exactly. They were like, oh my god, fences don't stop them. No, it's no. Especially not when they're like 9 feet long and stand up on their hind legs and can almost just like fall over a fence that tall.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Yeah, so I thought that was funny. And it's a huge gator. I mean, gators are super dangerous. On land, you're pretty safe as long as you can see them. Like they're more probably afraid of you than you are of them. But underwater, you're dead. There's not much you can do.
No, and I mean that's the thing. Gator, I forget the exact term, but they're they don't chase.
No.
They just snap real quick, and if they catch you, great. If not, they're not chase predators.
Right, or you gotta watch that tail. They'll hit you with the tail and knock you out real fast.
Yeah, ambush. They're ambush predators. That's what it's.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, if you can see them and they're at a distance, you're fine. It's not like a bear or a lion or something. They're like you're dead.
Yeah.
But like you said, they're ambushed. They'll sit there in the water, and if you're like playing on a tree or something right there, and you don't see them, you can totally get snapped up. But on land, you're okay. For the most part. But yeah, no, when they started climbing that thing and people started freaking out, yeah. I don't know. But anyway, I want to see Crawl, but that's one of those, like, when that comes to Netflix or Hulu or whatever, I'll totally watch it. I'll check it out. But,
grab some people, get drunk first, and then watch it.
There you go.
It's that kind of movie. It is enjoyable because it's bad, but you have to go into it being like, yeah, it's a bad movie. It is, and again, I'm sorry, but it's just bad. Yeah. But at least it's a fun bad.
Yeah.
There, it's not just like, oh, this was terrible. It's like, oh, this was. We made this entertaining. Like it's that kind of bad.
Right. Yeah. Man, I saw the ending to one of the Resident Evil movies the other day.
Oh god, which one? Oh wait, never mind. It doesn't matter. They all end exactly the same way.
I don't know which one it was. Sam Witwer was in it, I think.
Is this the run? Was it the one where they overrun the White House?
I don't. I'm not sure. It didn't look like they were in a White House. I think.
Okay, well, I meant the White House, but...
No, did I say a White House? No.
Yes, you did.
No, it wasn't that. I don't know which one it was. It was, I can't even explain what was happening on the screen.
Yeah, that sounds that's basically every Resident Evil movie.
But it was just ridiculous. But those seem like the kind of movies you could totally just get drunk and talk. It's stupid. But... Anyway, but yeah, sorry, where were we? That's so sidetracked. Alligators. But yeah, man. So yeah, those are the movies. Good Boys, like you said, took top.
Yeah.
What movies are coming out?
This week is kind of a slow week. Overcomer gets a more limited release. It's it's the next big Christian movie. Cool, do your thing. It's by the people who made War Room, which made a tremendous amount of money, if I remember right. So okay, do you think? I don't know what it's about. I have zero interest in it. But I can probably say the same about Ready or Not too. Like it's just.
Sorry. Sorry, I don't mean to say.
Yeah, you're alright.
Ever since it says War Room, I think of Dr. Strangelove. Because you can't find him here. This is the War Room. Sorry. That's why I've been giggling for the last few seconds.
That's fair enough.
Sorry, go ahead.
But, we've also got Ready or Not this week, which is like the girl marries into a family and then they play hide and seek, and if they find her, she dies. Kind of like a horror movie. Fine, whatever.
Wait, hold on. Let's take a step back. What happens?
Okay, so this girl marries into like one of these like old-timey rich families. It's modern day, but it's like that old money kind of rich.
Okay.
And apparently they spend their idea of fun on the wedding night is everybody plays hide and seek. The bride hides and everybody tries to kill her.
What's the name of this movie?
Ready or Not.
Ready or Not, okay.
Yeah.
There is a movie called Hide and Seek that's a horror movie too, right?
Right, that came out last year, I think.
Okay.
It was either early this year or last year. I can't exactly remember.
I'm losing track of this. So, okay, so Ready or Not. Now, there was a movie that was recently. Didn't like Universal
The
stop
Hunt.
The Hunt?
That was The Hunt. It was basically
Okay.
it kind of looked like an adult Hunger Games, but
Okay.
way more political. So I get, and especially with everything that happened within a day, like after that trailer came out, they were like, you know what, this is a bad idea.
I'm never a fan of them pulling a movie because of stuff like that. It makes sense, and they have every right to do that, of course.
Yeah.
Um, I get why they would do it right then and there, but that's just such a slippery slope.
Well,
I think you should just let the public decide, but at the same time, they don't want the movie to fail because who's going to want to, I guess, see that kind of movie when
exactly.
such stuff is happening?
Right, there is such thing as bad press, no matter what anybody tells you,
Right.
and Universal isn't entirely stupid.
Right.
Even for a Comcast-owned company, they're not. I respect their decision. I don't think it's a case of censorship. It's not like everybody
It will
was.
come out though, right? They're not just saying this movie's not going to exist.
They didn't say they pulled the release date. They said they canceled it.
What?
Yeah. So
see that's where you should at least put it out somewhere. At
it
some
may
point.
Come out like 3 months on digital down the road, just as like, we made this thing and it's done. We'll put it out digitally, and if people want to buy it, they'll buy it. But they won't. Like, it's not going to get a press release. It's just going to be like one day it'll show up on, it'll show up on Google Play or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, personally, those kind of films I don't like anyway. So it's not like I would go and see it. And I think a lot of people are the same way too. Like, these kind of movies that are just, I don't know. I haven't seen movies, so I don't even know if it's what I'm thinking it is about, but I get no joy out of those kind of films.
Yeah.
I think the only one that I thought was mildly entertaining was like Surviving the Game. Was that what the name of it was?
The deadliest game, the most dangerous game, most dangerous
game. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Of. Like they hunt humans or whatever. Where that one was just, I thought because that was, I guess, one of the first ones I saw that I seen, and I don't know. Those kind of films don't really do it for me anyway. But I don't like the idea of just canceling it because things are going on in the real world. It should be released at some point. There's a lot of people that put work into that, and I don't know. I feel weird about that. I feel gross about that. But I don't know. It's their movie. They can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, and I like I said, I'm not entirely a fan of the decision, but I understand it, I respect it, and I'll take that kind of decision over the decision of well, we're gonna continue with the press tour and this and that and do the thing we were gonna do anyway. Like I would rather have something that looks like an attempt at social consciousness as opposed to just complete tone deafness.
But I don't like, especially the tone of the government blaming movies, video games, everything else on the issues. And that, to me, looks like they are accepting that. And that's where I'm like, so what? It's a slippery slope. What's the next step? So we're not going to make more Call of Duty games. Mortal Kombat's going to now be canceled because that shows violence in horrific ways. I hope that, and I do believe that most studios are well aware and will keep riding that wave of, no, we're still going to make what we're going to make, and we'll let the people decide if they want to buy it or not. No, we're just going to pull it because, some terrible shit happened. But terrible shit's been happening for a long time now, and a movie or a video game isn't going to change that. I don't know. I that's why I said I feel a little gross about that. I get why they did it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially, they're going to do what best makes sense for them for the dollar. And for them, they feel, hey, no one's going to want to go see this weekend. That's why you make a deal with Netflix with that movie. You make a deal with Hulu, or I guess not, Hulu probably wouldn't do it, but you make a deal with Netflix or HBO or something.
Yeah. No, I don't think, I really don't think
Amazon.
it was it was the political pressure. I don't think it was, all the morons who came out saying video games cause people to do all these terrible things, even though that's been debunked time and time again.
These are morons with a lot of power, though.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's
And a
fair.
lot of sway. One of them fired Tom Green from Celebrity Apprentice. Let's not forget how close they are to show business.
That's fair, and especially the idea that something that's controversial is going to draw a lot of free press.
Yes.
Billions and billions of dollars worth, and look what happens.
Yeah.
But I really think that it was the fact that the movie is very politically charged. It's very much
See, I didn't know that. I just thought they were just like, hey, I'm dropped off in a place and I can't get out, and we're all being hunted. I didn't know there was any. I guess I didn't see anything beyond what I saw in the trailer, and I wasn't really paying attention to.
No, it's a specific kind. It's a specific class of people hunting another very specific class of people. It's not racial, but it's very class warfare, almost literally. And for what the film would have been trying to do in I'm sure by the end it's they rise up and they win, and hey, what do you know, we're all kind of the same and nobody's inherently better than anybody else. I imagine it probably ended along those lines.
Right.
The journey would have overshadowed, at least especially in the wake of everything that's going on.
Right.
It would have been more about what happened in the movie than the end, and whatever message they were trying to portray. And I just think the avalanche of negative press that would have come from it, at the end of the day, it is just not worth. It's not worth it to Universal as a company, and it probably also wouldn't have been worth it to the people involved in the film, because all of their questions wouldn't have been about what was it like making the movie. It would have been, how can you make a movie like that at a time like this? And
well, it's not like they made the movie the day before.
But it would have been, they
make war movies when in time of war. They make extremely violent movies, and or protest movies, and all when that stuff's happening. To me it just reeks of. We were talking about Tarantino. Of anytime he puts out a film, there's someone going out him about how his movies are causing violence or he's obsessed with violence. It's just it's a movie. At the end of the day, it's not real life, and I just hate the idea that people. I don't know. I totally get why they did it, but. I hope it's not a trend, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't see that being a thing. Yeah. I mean, hell, the last time a movie of any political impact was pulled from theaters was The Interview. And then Netflix came, and that was just because, there was literal war threatened over it.
Right.
Which was its own kind of insane. But,
right.
And even then, Netflix was like, hey, we'll put it out. We don't give a shit. We'll do it.
Yeah. Yep.
But I don't know. We'll see. And I mean, I'm sure it made money for Netflix. So, and as is evidenced by everything going on, it didn't cause a war. So I mean,
no. Well, the problem with everything that's going on is a few days from it happening, everyone will forget until it happens again, and until it happens, odds are to someone eventually, and that's what sucks.
That's why if I were Universal, I would have continued to push for this movie's release just to keep them talking about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because like I said, it was one of those where I think I saw the trailer before something else, but like I told you, those movies, I could care less about them when I see the trailer, and usually it's scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, and I'll see just a clip or two. And that's it. And it's not like where I'm like going to YouTube and like, hey, let me see the trailer for this movie.
Right.
And it wasn't until all that happened that I actually really heard about it. And I was like, it's one of those, like, you're human, you're curious. Now that you heard about it, you heard the controversy, you want to know more about it just because, I don't know what the word is, but osmosis, you just want to be there. You want to be next to it. And that does that make sense? Like that's
Yeah.
when it's in everyone's conscience about it. You're absolutely right. That's when they should have pushed it. They would have made a buck. Because people would want to know, well, what's the big deal with this? Yeah. Or that's when they should have immediately made a deal with Netflix and like, it's out next week. Boom. Suddenly Netflix gets their subscribers up. So I don't know. Anyway, we just got so off topic. Where were we? Viacom.
Yeah, well, the last movie that comes out this week is Angel Has Fallen, which is the third in the Has Fallen series.
Okay, so
apparently.
Angel is the president?
No, Angel is apparently the bodyguard.
Oh, the president fell last time.
No, London fell last time.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Olympus. It was Olympus has fallen.
Yeah.
London's fallen. Now Angel has fallen.
Yeah. Even though I thought this was going to be like an Air Force One remake, because Angel is usually the name given to Air Force One.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that's what this was going to be, but apparently not. It's like Angel as in Guardian Angel, like the head of his Secret Service detail kind of metaphor or whatever.
Okay. Is this coming to the theater? I thought that was going like straight to Amazon or something.
No, it's coming to theater.
Okay.
And it's coming to premium format theaters too.
What does that mean?
IMAX, Dolby, all that fun stuff.
Oh wow! Okay.
There's something to finally replace Hobbs and Shaw, which has been there for what seems like an eternity. Just because like everything this summer has been in like the big theaters for like a week or two,
right?
And Hobbs and Shaw's been there for like 3.
Yeah.
It just seems long.
Right. Oh, wait till Star Wars comes out.
Man, don't even joke.
Well, doesn't Disney have like a deal where they have to be in premium for?
Yeah, basically like a month. Yeah. The only time that was changed was with Endgame. Endgame was 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks. Endgame was 2 weeks, and then Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them doing that, but yeah.
I mean, that's Disney. That's what money can do for you. And that's a deal with the companies. That's not a deal with the distributors. That's a deal with either Dolby or IMAX, because those, a lot of people don't know, those are their own companies.
No, I know. See, I thought it was like every theater. I thought like even if you were a smaller theater, if you wanted Star Wars to be in your theater, you had to show it in this theater.
And those are other deals that they do. But yeah, they do make those as well.
And that's what I think sucks, is because if you're a little mom and pop theater and you got 4 or 5 theaters and one of them is Star Wars for so long and other movies are coming. I don't know. I guess it's a good thing that it's coming out at that time of the year anyway, Christmas, because there's only going to be 1 or 2 big ones.
There's going to be 3 that I can think of off the top of my head.
Oh wow! See, you're so much closer to it than I am. So
here's what's a bitch about this Christmas. It's Star Wars, Jumanji, and a musical, Cats.
Okay.
Christmas 2 years ago was Star Wars, Jumanji, and a musical, The Greatest Showman.
Oh wow!
And it was hell. So I know what this Christmas is going to be like.
No, you're right. You're right. I like this. I like because you're so much more closer to the movies, and I'm like just the average Joe, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where in my head, I'm thinking, oh well, you got Star Wars, and I didn't think about all those other ones. But you're absolutely right. And that's what I'm saying. The smaller theaters, like that sucks. Like one theater's being taken up by this movie, just so you can get it, and the other ones have to go to the other theaters, not the giant one that you have. I don't know.
Well, but you can also there are ways to rotate movies, especially with digital now. It's a lot easier to have split booking in houses where you're like, hey, every you can rotate. You can have 6 films in 3 theaters.
That's true.
It's possible. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, imagine.
But it's possible. And, some movies you're going to schedule depending on the, you'll change the time depending on the day, depending on what time of year it is, whether school's in or out,
Didn't we get some reports that someone went to go see a movie and it was more like a comic book movie, but it turned out to be like a crazy horror film immediately?
Oh, it happens all the time. It's a thing that... It happens a lot. Because sometimes things don't change over. Sometimes cues are missed. sometimes things are programmed wrong. It happens.
Right.
That's the marvel of technology. But it's also why you've got to keep an eye on things, and why you want to make sure when you're booking that you either keep them similar. Like we have in one of our theaters, it's split between Spider-Man and Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh my god, this isn't, what the
Right.
hell's going on? We had one theater that was something like that. It was Annabelle and something that was decidedly not Annabelle.
Right.
And I was just waiting. I was like, I'm gonna walk in there one time when it starts, and it's gonna be the wrong thing.
Right.
But if everything,
grandma coming out holding the kid's ears and eyes, hands over the eyes.
It happens. It tends to be just a matter of programming. If everything's plugged in right, it's fine. But sometimes, bugs happen in every system. So it is a thing that can happen. But there's, you can program 2 movies in an auditorium a day, rotating or stacked depending on the time of day. Kids movies early in the day, and then have a screening of scary stories at like 9 or something. Like there are ways to handle that, but it is still kind of crap, because also Disney will tend to lace those deals not just with like, hey, this has to be in your largest house for 4 weeks or whatever, but you also have to abide by this at this certain ticket split, and also either you do this or you don't get these other Disney movies. It's been going on forever. It's just that now it's getting to the point where people are really starting to notice.
Yeah.
But I mean, on the flip side of this, you're gonna want Star Wars in there for a month anyway, because it's gonna be your biggest draw.
So, I agree. I don't like that idea that they control that. That's all.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. But just, to play devil's advocate, it's kind of like, well, is it really such a bad thing? And in principle it is, because it's distributors.
Well, look at Solo. Solo just totally underperformed. And again, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I don't want these movies to do bad, but it's not impossible for, especially coming out of 9, we are in no man's land. Who knows what movies they're going to make, where they're going to go. Rian Johnson's got his 3 movies that he's working on, and he got a lot of heat for the last one. Who knows? And so to like shoot, like to be like, you got to show these. Now, did they do that with Solo? It was Solo 4, and that was a crazy thing. Solo was smack dab in the middle of like Deadpool and.
Yeah, I think that, and that's another thing too, is that it depends on what all else is going on, and the intricacies of these deals are beyond me in a lot of ways. So especially at a time like that,
for them to for them to say Solo's got to be in there for 5 weeks, and it's making it's got just a few people in the seats.
Yeah,
that kind of sucks.
Well, and here's the thing though: Solo was dropped in the middle of everything because they expected it to bomb.
I see, that's so bad. I truly believe that if they would have left Solo in the Christmas time, it would have made more money. It would have felt better, if that makes sense, and it would have given it a lot more time away from The Last Jedi, which most people that I talk to, their criticisms were way more towards Last Jedi than it was towards Solo. They thought Solo was okay. Does that make sense? Like middle of the road.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, Christmas last year was Bumblebee and Aquaman and Mary Poppins and the tail end-ish of Into the Spider-Verse. So
but the summertime was just as, if not more, packed.
And that's my thing, is like, if Disney had gone ahead with Solo as a Christmas time release, I do think it would have done better. I really do. Than being right in the middle of the sea of everything they tried to just pop it in there. It was intentionally the wrong time to do it. But I think that I really do think that if they had put it out last Christmas, it would have done better It might not have been tremendously favorably reviewed, but I think it would have been fine.
The only bit of silver lining to come from that is, we'll talk about that in a little bit, is some projects that might have been canceled because of Solo that make way for Disney Plus.
Right.
That they were planning on. But yeah, I don't know. Star Wars it's at a weird time. I'm excited for 9. I'm excited. I think I'm even more excited to see what they do with Disney Plus stuff. But I'm excited to see the future. I'm excited to see what they do moving forward. And yeah. So anyway, we'll get all to that in a little bit. But man, where were we? Viacom.
Viacom. Yeah. CBS. Yeah. CBS and Viacom are getting back together again.
Yeah. So I mean, that's odd. Right?
Well, they were a thing forever, and then
I know, but what caused them to go? Hey, let's get the game back together. Let's renewal our
probably Disney buying Fox.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
that's probably exactly what it was.
Man, let's get Star Trek under one house now. Man, that was a confusing. I remember going like, hey, oh, by the way, I finished Discovery.
Oh, the first season, did you?
Season 2. For season 1 and season 2.
Ooh.
The first part of season 2 is amazing. The second half is not as good. They do too much.
Fair enough.
They try to do way too much in the season, and the stakes are always at like 11. And I never remember. Next Generation. That's why now I've kind of started watching the Orville films, way more like Next Generation, where it's the stakes are high, but they're way more lighthearted.
Right.
Not every episode has 50 warships fight. It's like I don't know. It gets very crazy towards the end of the Discovery too. I liked where it ended and where they're going.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it. I don't want to spoil or anything.
No, I haven't yet.
And I don't know if you know the premise of season 3, but I like that direction. It's super interesting, that part. But the first half of the second season is great, but the second half, it has a lot of issues. It's very confusing in some parts, but I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so it surprised me that when I started watching that I didn't realize that Star Trek was so split on who owns what. Yeah. And it was very confusing because I thought, okay, well, Next Generation is CBS. OG Star Trek is CBS. Those old movies are CBS, but the J.J. Abrams Star Trek is Viacom. The new Discovery is Viacom, but it also has Spock. So I was totally confused on how that all split up. But now it's all under the same house. Now they have all their toys to play with. Right. And it's, I was just totally kind of like, wait, what? when I found out that happened. But this totally makes sense. You're absolutely right. It probably has a lot to do with Disney and Fox. So it makes CBS Viacom a lot stronger now. Yeah. Which hopefully this means that if you do have the CBS app, hopefully they'll bring the Star Trek stuff to it, because it's only Discovery right now and then Picard. Right. No, I think I see this beefing up CBS All Access a lot. I see this adding a ton of programming to that. Because right now it's split between Hulu and Netflix for Star Trek. Like every Star Trek movie, pretty much except Generations, is on Hulu. Yeah. And all the shows are on Netflix, and some of the movies. So I imagine they will, whenever their contracts are up, all go to CBS All Access. I don't know. There's not too many properties that CBS Viacom own that I am excited about, except for really Star Trek. But hopefully this means Comedy Central stuff will go to it, all that good stuff. Well, yeah, and you've got everything from Showtime. I mean, I imagine everything from the CW will start migrating over there. Because I bet their deal with Netflix is either coming to an end or will be ended. Yeah. This also includes a lot of Paramount stuff. Look at everything Paramount's done. Their film slate is gargantuan. Right. I mean, Mission Impossible alone, for one thing, is a selling point for a lot of people. Right. That's true. This might mean we get a TV show out of it.
Oh, I doubt it.
You don't think so?
They've built Mission Impossible around Tom Cruise too much.
You don't think that they could somehow get a spin-off TV show?
I think they'll try it and it'll fail.
Yeah. What other... There was another one like that they tried to do. What was it?
The A-Team?
Not the A-Team. No. There was the... Oh, what was the one? Oh, my God. Where they took the pill.
Oh, the one that made me sick. It did. I can't remember what the hell it was called. Because
Bradley Cooper's in it.
Yeah,
Like extraordinary. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, shoot. Oh, that's gonna make me crazy. Limitless.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a season out of it, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking. The things that get me excited. Don't they have the rights to Scream?
Oh,
Which I saw the first season of, by the way.
Did you finally? I told you, man. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. It was good. Bit confusing at parts because I completely lost track of where people were.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a TV show. It's not a movie where it's like you could easily be like, they are here, they are there, they are here. You follow one track, and that it's like it kind of turned into what's the show, like Riverdale almost, but everyone kept dying.
Yeah.
And then season 2, we watched like the first few episodes of that. That was it.
And shit, I didn't realize this. The 3rd season has actually come out.
3rd season of what?
Of Scream.
There is a 3rd season. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that until just now. It came out a month ago. It came out a month ago.
On Netflix?
On VH1?
Wait, what?
I don't know. I'm trying to find where it actually aired.
Oh.
Because the original show was on MTV.
Okay, so they actually used the real Scream mask in this one.
Do they? Okay.
That's what I'm seeing right now.
Okay, well, I gotta go. Okay, so now I know.
Oh, wow. Okay, it looks so much like they put some money into season 3, it looks like.
Well, because Queen Latifah is producing.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I see the Scream mask.
Yeah, it's a rebooted 3rd season, which they had talked about. Like the 3rd season the show was gonna be like an anthology series, kind of, where we were gonna start over with something new. Okay, well now I have to go watch this.
Okay, yeah. The serious killer known as Ghostface. Ghostface Killer. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, no, it has the Scream mask too, and that's one thing I was missing from the show. I was like, I don't like the mask. It's not that. There's something about that Scream mask that's just classic. To me, it's the Scream franchise is right there with Freddy and right there with Jason.
Yeah, because as soon as you see that mask, you know.
Yes, it's iconic.
Yeah.
And when I get they were trying to do their own little thing, but no, I want to see the mask. So that's good. Yeah, holy crap, that's exciting.
And it's apparently the 3rd season will stream on Netflix on September 1st.
There we go. Hey, it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Right around the corner. Awesome.
On August 20th. Shit, they announced that today.
Oh, there we go.
I'm reading this right now. I'm like, on August 20th, 2019, Netflix confirmed the 3rd season will be available to stream instantly on their service on September 1st. And I was like, well, damn, that was pretty recent. Oh, shit, that's today.
That's funny.
Oh,
yeah.
That's fantastic.
How many episodes is that? I think it's just a few.
Right now, it's probably just a few.
Yeah. Three episodes so far. Or no, yeah, there's 3 episodes in July. So yeah, I think it's just a couple episodes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I loved the first 2 seasons. I really loved the first season. Second season was okay. But God, that first season was fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, 6 episodes in season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Like 8 is usually the sweet spot, but when it gets too much, that's when I get kind of lost.
Yeah.
When these kind of horror things. So yeah, 6 episodes. Keep them small. Keep it sweet. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it aired in July, so that's perfect. We see this in September. Definitely be talking about that.
Very cool. Very, very cool indeed.
Speaking of scary, we got some It news.
Yeah, so they confirmed that It Chapter 2 is going to have a 2-hour and 45-minute runtime.
Wow. That's long.
Yeah, well, they have talked about the fact that they may be releasing a director's cut.
Do they go back in time with the raccoon in this one? Just kidding. When it gets to 3 hours, I don't know when my mind goes to Endgame.
It's a Stephen King movie. It's hard to freaking tell.
Right. Will there be a gangbang?
That's
a reference to the first one, by the way.
Yes, no, they've mercifully left that out of this particular retelling of the story.
Imagine being the guy having to do the audiobook for
that. No thank you. That would be a tough read. That would be a very tough read.
That would be a tough read. Oh boy.
But
anyway,
they did tease the possibility of a director's cut just of Chapter 2, which would have a 4-hour runtime.
Man, that's insane.
That's how
Lord
much.
Of the Rings.
Yeah, that's how much they put into this movie, and that's how much they cut out of this movie.
Right. It has a lot of fans, and I don't know why that's surprising to me. I don't know. It was never a franchise that I cared about at all. And I saw the first one and I thought it was okay. But, man, do a lot of people like that?
Oh, I enjoyed the hell out of the first one.
Yeah, see, I felt like I enjoyed The Conjuring way more. And I'm like, if they announce a new Conjuring movie, I get way more excited. I don't know what it is about it that it wasn't, I don't know. But, I don't know. It's got. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's got a huge following. People love that shit.
Well, it's Stephen King. Stephen King's got a huge following.
That's true. But I guess like this one seems like way more than the others.
Because it's not just like here's a Stephen King film and it costs $20 million to make and it gets released in February and nobody talks about it ever again.
Right. That's true.
It's a big budget, big studio movie based on one of his most well-known works.
Right, that's true. Very true, very true. 4-hour runtime. So that would be the Blu-ray? They're not going to put that in theater, right?
Oh, no, well, no. There may be a special engagement of that in theaters after it comes out on digital and Blu-ray. Maybe. I say maybe. But that, that would definitely be for a Blu-ray or digital release, for sure.
Okay. Cool. All right. What else we got here? We got some Venom news?
Yeah, Andy Serkis is going to direct the sequel.
Okay.
Very excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm waiting to hear the news about Spider-Man. Like now that was Far From Home came out and it did really good. I want to know what the deal is.
Yeah.
Is it still going to be connected, or are they? Venom 2 has to be connected to it. I don't want to see another Venom movie and it's its own thing. I don't know. That is good news though. He's great.
His version of the Jungle Book when he did Mowgli, it was different, that's for sure.
I didn't see that.
It's a unique take on the Jungle Book, I thought.
Okay.
Worth checking out, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see here. What else do we got? Some Mortal Kombat news? You take these names because I don't.
Yeah, so they've announced some of the principal cast. Mashad Brooks was cast as Jax. Tadanobu Asano was cast as Raiden. Sissy Stringer cast as Melina. And Ludi Lin from the last Power Rangers movie was cast as Liu Kang.
Cool. Now, I know the guy who plays Jax.
Yeah. And I know the guy who plays Liu Kang.
What's he from?
What, who plays Liu Kang?
Yes.
He was the Black Ranger in the last Power Rangers movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I
Cool, man.
admittedly do not know either of the other two. And
People are blowing up from that movie, man.
yeah, right. Naomi Scott is killing it.
It's almost like they should have made a sequel. Should have got those kids
Right?
on board. But yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yep, yeah, I can totally see this. Man, I'm excited for a new Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, okay. Asano was the guy who played. He played Hogan in some of the like Thor films. He was one of the Warriors 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. So him I do know. And Sissy, I recognize the name Sissy Stringer, but I don't offhand know exactly where from. So give me a second, and I'll look that up. But yeah, like there's. That's interesting. There's no Wikipedia page. How about that? So I have no idea who she is.
Oh, okay. They're filming this in Australia right now, right?
Yeah, I think production's already started. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, also Joe Taslim is playing Sub-Zero, which I think is badass.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. It looks like she hasn't really been in anything. She was in Bloody Hell before Mortal Kombat, and it's in post production, so it hasn't even come out yet. So she's brand new.
Nice, very cool.
Right behind the ears. Yep. So I like that. You know, it's you know, if this movie takes off and it becomes iconic, you'll see that face and that's what you'll think of. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. What movie I keep thinking about? Honey Boy.
Yeah,
That's probably one of my most anticipated films.
That's the one where Shia LaBeouf plays his dad, right?
He plays his dad, yeah, and
Yeah.
just like that. Like he wrote the movie in rehab. I've been watching a lot of interviews of him recently, and I feel like that whole incident in Georgia humbled him in a way. Like it obviously really embarrassed him.
Yeah.
And he's been embarrassed for years. Like he was getting in a lot of trouble. But like any interview I've seen after that, now that he is sober, and he, I also want to see the Peanut Butter Falcon. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't even heard of that.
You haven't heard of the Peanut Butter Falcon that he's in?
No.
It's kind of interesting story behind the scenes as well. It's about a boy with Down syndrome who escapes the home that he's at, and he bumps into Shia LaBeouf, and he wants to become a professional wrestler. That's why it's called the Peanut Butter Falcon, because it's like you gotta have a name, and it's just like them teaming up, and him trying to get the kid to a wrestling school. You should watch the trailer. Okay. I feel like we should almost pause the podcast for a moment, so or you can see it after the podcast. But I want you to see the trailer. The trailer looks awesome. It looks like a really good movie.
It's got a hell of a cast.
Oh yeah, and the thing is they built it around this boy. I guess the filmmakers had this idea of the film because I think they met him at like summer camp, and he said, he loved movies and he wanted to be an actor, and I guess in the interviews with the directors, they were telling him that there are unfortunately not a lot of roles for someone who has Down syndrome. He was like, why not? Why don't you make a movie for me? And that's what they did. And they went around Hollywood knocking on every door that they could, like it was I think they were on like Collider, and I think they let it slip that like Josh Brolin or someone got it and was like, I'm gonna put this in the right hands, and then it took off, and they were able to make their movie. The budget's it's got like a $20,000 budget, very small picture, but the trailer looks like it has a ton of heart, and the acting just in the trailer alone is just superb.
And I'm looking at this cast, and that's just kind of blowing me away. Shia LaBeouf, Dakota Johnson, Bruce Dern, John Bernthal, Thomas Hayden Church, Yellow Wolf.
Yep. Yeah, the rapper. Yep. Yeah, they're like in Georgia, like like deep Georgia. And unfortunately, when he was filming this, is when he got arrested in this hotel room. He was drunk and like I guess he asked an officer for a cigarette. I don't know the full story, and then he just went on his rant as a belligerent drunk, and he ended up going to jail. Like, you know, because it's filmed with the vest, and that's when he went into rehab. And when he went into rehab, you know, I saw an interview where he was talking to his co-star Zach, uh, and he was like, "You're ruining this for me." He's like, "You're already famous, and you're gonna ruin my chance of becoming a movie star." And he was like, "That's when it really sunk in," because he was like, "The thing about Zach is he will be brutally honest with you, and he's like, I needed someone to be brutally honest to me that wasn't afraid to be, and he was that guy." And so like, I don't know, and that's when he went into rehab, and that's when he wrote Honey Boy. And it was like therapeutic for him, I guess, to write a movie about his childhood and then to star in it as his father. I don't know. I just keep thinking about how fascinating that is. But yeah, Peanut Butter Falcon is one I want to go see. That and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Those are the two movies I want to see right now. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I keep getting sidetracked.
No, that's good because I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah, I think it's in the theater right now.
It was released
Limited.
It had a limited release like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it may not be out.
Right. Just depending on your area. I'm in Orlando, so we got a big I'm seeing it here in a bunch of theaters around me, but it's one of those where it's got like 2 showings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure it will probably hit Amazon or Netflix or something like that soon. But I don't know, man. The trailer looks like it has a lot of heart. Looks good. And I think even the Honey Boy has an extremely limited release too. And it's also going to be on Netflix.
Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
It's an Amazon Studios production.
That's it, yeah. So I think it's going to be in the theater for a weekend and then go to Amazon.
Yeah, that's basically how theirs work. Like they come out for a week.
Yep. But I don't know. These original ideas, these you know, I hate when people throw around the superhero fatigue and what like that, because that's not what it is. But every once in a while, I do want to see something like this that's just original and different and completely different experience. So, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, where were we?
Well, we kind of kicked through the movie news.
Yeah.
There was some Disney Plus news announced earlier this week, or a couple weeks ago or a month ago. I can't remember. But basically it was Bob Iger coming out and saying, "Hey, you know all the stuff we own? You can have it for $13 a month."
Yeah.
It's Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and basic ad-supported Hulu.
Right.
For the cost of Netflix.
I'm waiting to hear about the non-ad. And I was wondering, does Disney Plus have ads in theirs?
They haven't said. I don't know. I would kind of be surprised if it didn't, to be honest.
Oh man, I would not to sit down and watch like The Lion King or Star Wars, and suddenly in the middle of it get an ad for go to the theme park. That would piss me off.
I would imagine they would do it during the TV shows.
Right, the TV shows. I'm curious what the non-ad one is. And did you see the other news that really is weird and I don't like at all? Is that they're teaming up with who's Spectrum's big company, Charter,
yeah,
to crack down on people sharing passwords.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, but I understand why.
The thing is I think Netflix does it right. You pay $1 more to share, so basically you can have multiple accounts on at the same time. And Netflix, I think the CEO of Netflix has come out and said like it's not worth it. The cost of doing that it outweighs what they're trying to do. It's a slippery slope essentially.
Yeah.
Of what data you're giving to these people and the permissions. It's not good. I get why they're doing it, of course. The good thing is at least this service is way more affordable. All of that bundle is the same price as Netflix right now. So like Disney, Hulu, and ESPN altogether is the same price as just getting Netflix. So,
Yeah.
or Disney is what, $6.99 a month or whatnot. So at least it's affordable. But I don't know. It's the exact verbiage from the CEO of Netflix was more bad would come out of it than good, of trying to crack down on people just sharing a password.
And I get where he's coming from, and I understand why he's looking at it that way. I get it. But I also see why Disney's doing it their way. I mean, they have the right to do that with their service. Whether or not it actually winds up working out or not is a whole other question.
It's all great until it goes wrong, until suddenly someone abuses that, until suddenly you hear in the news, it's like, yes, give us control of all of this, and let's have your ISP start tracking what you're signing, what websites you're signing into.
Like they don't do that already.
I know, but this makes it even more. This makes it worse. This makes it so like now if that makes sense. Now we're sharing it with Disney, and hopefully they don't ever get hacked, or suddenly all of your information. I mean, look at what's happened to Equifax. I don't like that idea, and the fact that now they're tracking it, and I don't know.
Yeah, but Disney's not going to ask for your social security number, though.
That's true, but it's just weird, and like I said,
let's take a look though for a second at what information people already give up without giving it a second thought. When it's presented to them as, oh, hey, by the way, make sure you give us this, 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 and this, that's fine. People get upset, as well they should. But, I mean, right. How many apps on your phone right now are listening through your microphone?
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist or that it's good right now. It's not.
Yeah.
But this is just another step of. It feels like you give a mouse a cookie. What's the saying? You can ask for milk. Like it's just more and more and more. And like I said, I would prefer the way all the other ones do it, where it's like you pay for the one service. I think that the compromise is you just pay $2 extra, and you can have another 1 or 2 other people access your account. To me, that makes sense. That's more consumer friendly. I don't know, because it's not like you're going to suddenly get more people. You're just going to get more people torrenting your stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. That's my little rant.
Yeah,
it makes sense though. It totally makes sense why Disney's doing it, and I think that because they're making it a fair price, there's no reason, a couple dollars a month for all of that is totally worth it.
Yeah,
I think. But man, we're gonna hit a bubble soon. I think with all of these streaming services, we are in the streaming wars right now. Like we are right there. It's gone from the cable, wars or whatnot to or the studios of now it's the streaming wars. Now it's, like you said, with Viacom and CBS and now Disney, if they wouldn't have bought Fox would have their own app right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no question.
And I think that was one of the big reasons why they sold it, because they were like, we're not getting in this game right now. Man, I've been reading it. It looks like Disney bought a limit at this point with Fox, with the way their movies have went in the last couple of years.
Well, but I mean, look at what it was, though. Look at what movies they were, and look at some of the ones that actually hit too. I mean, yeah, we talk about like Dark Phoenix was a bomb, but let's be honest, we all knew it was going to be. Nobody really cared, not in the way they needed to.
They bought the studio for the franchises. They bought it for the IP. They didn't buy it. I get it for the last couple of years because they've done nothing with Avatar. Supposedly it's coming out soon, but it's been 10 years. The X-Men franchise ran to the ground.
Yeah. Deadpool
was a success out of that, though. But everything, Fantastic Four, everything else was just a letdown. So, I was reading some of the news on it, and Disney they were not. They were like, oh well, we got some problems here with this. But I don't know. They bought obviously for the franchises and for that big old library they can put into their Hulu, ESPN.
Right, and I think Plus. A lot of these reports that are like Disney not happy about the performances, I genuinely believe that
they knew
they knew this going into it. They knew what was going to happen with some of these movies.
Right.
This is not like, oh my God, Dark Phoenix, tanked. Who would have ever saw that coming? They did. They knew all this. These are these are websites who are like, we're gonna talk to some junior executive's second cousin's assistant,
Right.
and like they're gonna say something because we won't quote them, but they'll know they got to contribute to a news article. This Nobody who was involved in the deal making process is surprised by this.
Right.
There's
Right.
not a sudden mad scramble to restructure the Fox performance slate. They had a plan for all this. This is Disney, for God's sake.
Right.
They had, if nothing else, they had a plan before they went in there.
Right.
But
Yeah.
so, and I mean, this on top of the fact that we're getting an Obi-Wan Disney Plus series, I mean, I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Do you think Fox Searchlight is going away?
I doubt it. I think it makes a fun little independent brand. I think they
I think
keep
that I think they would be dumb to because right now Disney Pictures, Walt Disney Studios, whatever, is all big, blockbuster or children's movies or big family. You know what I mean? Like the big
Right.
blockbuster franchises. They need a smaller studio for smaller films.
They did. It was called Touchstone.
No, I know. I'm saying now they need it more than ever.
Yeah. No, that will definitely continue through like Fox Searchlight, Fox 2000. They're not going to get rid of all of that stuff just because. Like like I said, they're not stupid. Those films have a market, and they
Well, did you see what happened with Annapurna Pictures?
What happened with Annapurna?
They're basically going into bankruptcy.
It's unfortunate, yet not a surprise.
Yeah, they're just not making any money at this point. I think it was like the last 5 films underperformed. I don't know. There's articles all over the place about it right now, but it looks like it's not good for them right now.
Well, I mean, their last couple of movies, look at what they made. I mean, there was, Hustlers is still yet to come out. That actually looks like it might be halfway decent.
Right.
But I mean, Where'd You Go, Bernadette was never going to be a runaway.
Right. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah. That was unfortunate. But like, their movies are all kind of
Booksmart.
Very like limited sort of or artistic kind of films. I mean, Detroit was kind of a big budget fare for them, and even it wasn't massive. But I mean, Phantom Thread was an Oscar bait film. The Sisters Brothers was meant to be, low budget, and it was just not, If Beale Street Could Talk was a very art kind of film. Vice got huge, though. They made a shit ton of money off Vice.
Booksmart should have made more money, though.
Booksmart, oh god, that to me is the biggest disappointment of the year, that more people didn't go see Booksmart, because that was fantastic.
But it's not the people's fault, though. I think they just didn't. There's no advertising behind any of this.
They put a hell of a lot of advertising behind Booksmart. There was a great yes, and
I feel like I'm the only one in my friend group that ever heard of it.
Especially, let me rephrase that a little differently. For a movie like that, there was a hell of a lot of marketing behind it. Think about If Beale Street Could Talk. I guarantee you, if it wasn't like, you've never heard of that movie, have you?
No.
Yeah, that's kind of what Booksmart, like, it's that same kind of, like, nobody really knew anything about Where'd You Go, Bernadette. I didn't know anything about it. I saw the poster, but it was a couple of text messages. I thought it was like Searching. It was going to be like a mystery thriller kind of thing. It's not by a long shot. But that's what I was expecting. Booksmart got a push, especially for a smaller film like that to have any advertising at all. But Annapurna really went in on advertising on a decent level for a film of that size. There was a great thread I saw on Twitter a couple of months ago where there were people coming out, because somebody was saying exactly that, like, oh, they never advertised it, it's all their fault. And people were coming out saying, are you kidding me? The advertising for a movie of this level was fantastic.
I feel like when, like, for example, A24 puts out a film, I see those trailers. Well, I hear about those. But when a studio, and they're, like, I feel like they're the opposite. I feel like I'm the only one that knows it, and my friends are like, what are you talking about?
Well, and the thing with A24, though, is all their shit is weird. So, yeah, everybody's going to talk about about A24 movies because they are. I mean, it's Midsummer and Mother and Hereditary, and it's
Yeah,
just weird stuff, and they haven't been around that long either.
but they're just as small, I think, right? I don't, maybe I don't know, but I felt like those are the same kind of smaller pictures.
Right, but they only do like one or two a year. This company's
Yeah,
only been. I mean, A24 has only been around like 5-6 years.
I guess that's what I mean. But I feel like when I hear about their movie,
I mean,
it's
well, and I mean, here's the thing. Think about how many that you haven't heard of, though. I mean, Spring Breakers, we know.
yeah,
The Bling Ring, you probably know.
hmm
Have you heard of The Spectacular Now?
no,
Enemy.
no,
Obvious Child.
no. You make great points.
Uh-huh. You know what else
I
was
haven't heard of these.
You know what else was an A24 film? Tusk.
Oh, okay.
Tusk was an A24 film. The big thing that put A24 on the map, I mean, Spring Breakers was big, but I would say it was Ex Machina.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was their big coming out. But I mean, even then, Barely Lethal, never heard of it. Mississippi Grind, never heard of it. Room was their next big one.
Right.
And then there was The Witch, which got a lot of that kind of press. But I mean, you've got to keep going. Remember, I don't think anybody knows. Krisha, nobody knows. Green Room, some people know.
Yes.
It's gotten kind of a cult following.
But that's what I mean. Like the Annapurna, I guess they just haven't had. They've had great movies, of course, but no one saw them. If
Yeah,
that makes sense.
but I mean, I'm looking at like so much of the A24 stuff. Free Fire, The Exception, Menashe, Good Time. Uh,
Mid
they had,
'90s,
yeah, like they,
8th grade, which was what's his face's movie?
yeah. And I mean, even though
Bo Burnham.
they'll get a string every once in a while. They had Lady Bird and The Disaster Artist,
Mm-hmm.
in the same year. But then
Right.
you've got, The Last Movie Star, Lean on Pete, First Reformed. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
it most of the stuff. I mean, I would even say 8th grade was not one that was heavily advertised. People knew 8th grade because it was Bo Burnham.
Right.
That had nothing to do with A24.
Right.
But mid '90s is another one that they could draw on the fact that it was Jonah Hill.
Right.
Nobody said, "Oh, that's an A24 movie." When people think A24, they're gonna think
Mm-hmm.
stuff like Midsummer or
Right.
some of the really creepy shit.
Yeah. But I mean, like it. I mean, they had John Boyega in Detroit. That should have.
And they marketed it. They marketed
Yeah.
Detroit. They marketed the hell out of it. But
Yeah.
welcome to the world. I
Right.
don't know what to tell you. That was
Yeah.
you're right, but that's another thing. Like, how many other movies have they had like that they could actually, play
That's
off
true.
though? Like where
It's
they
a
could.
shame though. It's
It's a bummer. It's an absolute bummer.
and that's the crazy thing is there's more indie movies than ever right
Yeah.
now. So it just sucks to see a studio like that going through some bad times.
I mean, hell, they if I remember right, they co-produced Spring Breakers with A24. I mean,
Probably.
that was both of their things. But I mean, you look at some of the stuff that they've had. I mean, they had.
Man, when they start singing that Britney Spears song, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's such man. Spring break. I don't know.
I mean, Annapurna had Missing Link this year, which was fantastic and
Yeah.
criminally underrated.
Yeah. No one saw it.
Yeah, even though it had Wolverine and Gamora, I mean, you had a cast in this movie.
Yeah,
But
it felt like an animated movie with heart.
yeah, and it was awesome, and people should have gone to see it.
And that's the thing is, it's less. What would be the word for it? Less mainstream. It wasn't the next Pixar movie or something.
Yeah.
It was more like Fern Gully instead of Aladdin. If that makes sense. That's probably a terrible comparison. But you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't the big Disney picture. It was the off-brand, if that makes sense. It has like something a little bit more heart. I don't know. I'm making terrible comparisons here. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. But where were we? I keep sidetracking us.
Yeah, but that was a bummer.
Yeah.
And the films they've distributed are I mean, it's been a lot of their stuff, but I'm just yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Yeah. That's why I hope, like I said, when they bought Fox, I hope Fox Pictures doesn't.
I think Fox Searchlight is gonna be fine.
Yeah. So they put out some cool stuff.
Well, I mean that's always like the fun little like Oscar movies or the weird little like side projects that you're like, yeah, nobody's gonna want to finance these, but here you go.
Right.
And I mean, what do they have? Let me see what Fox Searchlight has coming out yet. Oh, Ready or Not is a Fox Searchlight film.
Yep.
Oh my God, Jojo Rabbit is a Fox Searchlight film. Have you seen the trailer for that?
Jojo Rabbit?
Yes.
No.
Put that on your list after we watch his show, because I was not expecting, like, when you watch that, you are not going to get what you think you're going to get. I promise you.
Oh, yeah. I've heard this one, yes.
I had not heard anything about this until I watched the trailer, and I was like, I saw what the trailer was. Like, I was like, oh, it's for this movie. I've never heard of it. And then I watched the trailer, and I was like, what in the hell?
Right.
That did not go where I expected it to go.
That's the guy making Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've got that. I mean, what else have they got? Nothing that I've heard of. Okay. They've got a lot of biopics in the works.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay. So good, but that's the thing. They do, a few movies every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't stretch themselves horrifically thin. And I mean their back catalog is pretty good. And again, it's that same kind of, it's things like I Heart Huckabees and Little Miss Sunshine and Juno. Juno and Slumdog Millionaire were Fox Searchlight Pictures.
Right.
I don't see this brand going anywhere anytime soon. 12 Years a Slave, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Birdman, for God's sake. Like, these were Fox Searchlight Pictures.
Yeah, I think that's what, but whenever I talk to someone and they're like, Disney bought Fox, that's one of their first go-tos. Like, we're not going to get any more of these films, and it's, I hope we do. Like, it would be stupid if they didn't.
They've got projects officially in the works through 2020, and they've got, to be determined dates on stuff they're working on past that. It's not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah, they did the Tolkien film. I want to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, because the family came out and was very much like, no. So I don't know.
Yeah, families are always going to be sensitive about that kind of stuff, because they obviously know them way more personally. And the movie, you're right. I think when it's in a movie like that, the audience goes to see it and they go, that must be it. That's exactly how it was. And it's not. It's a story. They got to make it entertaining, and
right.
There's nuggets of truth.
I would just be happy if I lived a life worth making a movie out of at all.
Yeah, exactly. Put me in a movie. Make me crazy.
Yeah.
Say some crazy stuff. As long as I was in a,
Right. Just don't make me a racist.
Exactly.
That's basically my only complaint. It's like, if you want to say I skydived naked and flipped off the park rangers that chased me out of the woods, fine.
Right.
But, just don't...
I mean, speaking of that kind of stuff, that Bruce Lee's sister was upset his portrayal in Once a Time in Hollywood. We talked about this last time, I think.
Yeah, and and I like what she said that Quentin should have said.
Right.
Which was, he should have just said, I made a fictional movie with a fictional portrayal of Bruce Lee, and that's the end of it.
Right.
That would have been fine. Instead, he kept trying to defend, and it was just like, dude, you're really not helping. You could have just, it was based on a quote that was, his whole thing of, like, having his version of Bruce say he could beat Muhammad Ali was a quote that somebody else had said about him.
Right, it was his sister.
No, I don't think it was her. I think it was somebody else before that.
Oh, his wife. I'm sorry.
Yeah, or it was somebody before that. And And it was like, okay, fine. And instead of Quentin just running with that and saying, look, this is a movie. It is a fiction.
Bruce,
It
he
is
had to be arrogant though. That's he was one of in the face in a crowd of a million white faces in Hollywood.
right, but I think that would have been why he wouldn't have been arrogant.
No, he stood out. He had to be arrogant. He had to be his personality to stand out. Where he didn't have the luxury of having a white face in Hollywood then, where you can be whatever. You had to have a little bit of "I'm the best." Does that make sense?
It does, but I also think you had, especially
There's
when
nothing wrong with the arrogance. So maybe I said that wrong, but
no, I know what you're saying.
Wrong with it, yeah.
Right, but there is too far.
Well, it's Quentin Tarantino,
and
these are cartoon characters.
Exactly, and that's all he would have had to say.
Yeah.
If he had just come out and said, "I made a movie that's a fiction of Hollywood, so yeah, everybody's a little exaggerated. This is my interpretation." Sure. Then it would have just been, okay, fine, it's a movie character.
And granted, I haven't seen the film, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's you've seen the trailer.
I've seen the trailer, yeah.
Right.
It looks like a cartoon version of him, and
exactly.
And I totally understand why this family would be like, wait a second.
Right, he wasn't like this. Okay, great. But if instead of Quentin coming out and constantly putting his foot in his mouth trying to defend it, all he would have had to do was say, this movie's a fiction. These are not real people. They may be based on that, but this is, like you said, this is a cartoonish version of some of these people. So, yeah, it's not necessarily true to life, but this makes for a good story.
I want someone to make a movie about Quentin Tarantino. His interview. How much cocaine do you think Quentin Tarantino does?
Probably not much anymore.
Oh my God, his interviews the entire time, like that guy.
He is sweating and red faced and high energy from start to finish.
And don't get me wrong, I got the ADHD, I get the twitching, I get the constant, just losing yourself in thought like I always do. I totally get that. I totally get the mannerisms and stuff, but man, he is on something on a lot of these. Yeah, Quentin Tarantino is one of those where like he's always putting his foot in his mouth. It's fascinating a lot of things he says. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I want to go see that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It really is.
Yeah. But anyway, where were we? Sorry. So sidetracked. Disney, yeah, we were talking about the Disney Plus series, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Ewan McGregor is going to reprise his role in Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Now this we'll find out this weekend. The official.
It's going to be a big D23 Expo announcement deal that's already been leaked. So.
Yeah. So this weekend we should be getting like the mass public should be getting the Mandalorian trailer, the stuff that they got at Celebration and whatnot.
Yeah.
So hopefully a lot more Mandalorian stuff, dude. That can't come soon enough. That's just in a couple months.
Yeah.
We're like probably 60 days away, right?
No, a little longer than that. Because
yes, 90. I forgot a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're right there. We're a couple months away. And I can't wait for Mandalorian. And Obi-Wan Kenobi news? Whew. Yeah. Dude, it's... reportedly, it's going to be, 6 to 8 episodes?
Yeah, I think so. Which is fine.
Which is fine, yeah. I imagine it probably won't go into production until next year. We probably won't see it until 2021. I'm sorry, 21, but yeah.
We may see it end of the year 2020.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I wonder what they do. I'm so curious what their model's going to be with this. We know they got a ton of Marvel shows coming out, but I doubt those are going to be like multiple season shows. Those are probably going to be maybe one and done, and then they do something else.
Maybe. What If will probably run more than one season.
What If will, yes. But those are some big actors. I wonder. I'm glad they're keeping it shorter because they have to because they're busy. I'm wondering what I don't know. I'm so curious of what this is going to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's huge to get him. Say what you want about the prequels. But him as Obi-Wan Kenobi was probably one of the best things about them.
Agreed. Oh, absolutely. And I don't think there's really anybody that's going to argue that point.
Right, and it's gonna be fun to see Tatooine again. Maybe he even gets off planet. Who knows? I could watch a whole series of him just sitting at the bar getting hammered at the cantina and telling people he's a Jedi. I don't know. We're it's gonna
let
be
me
good.
let me tell you about this time on Kate in the Morning. It didn't count, but let me.
Right. He breaks something in a distance to distract everybody, runs out.
Yeah.
Leaves his tab on Greedo or something. Oh man. Yeah, no, I wanna I can't wait. So we'll find out this weekend. We'll probably even get like a episode 9 trailer.
We may. It's because it's exactly 4 months away today.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're getting a new trailer this weekend. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Because there's not much in these. I don't want to see anymore.
No, I'm actually okay if they don't. Like I am totally fine with that. I know that the last one didn't really give you, because it's like, what exactly are they fighting? Like they're fighting Kylo Ren. Okay, but it's a little vague.
We know the Emperor's somehow involved.
Yeah.
In some way, but it's one of those like we're going back to the Snoke theory and stuff with the Emperor. Like, wait, huh? Is he back? Is he a clone? Is he not back? Is he just this? Are they trying to prevent him from coming back? Are they? Who knows at this point? Are they getting a raccoon and going back in time? Like, who knows? At this point, so I don't want to see anymore. I don't want to. We know it's going to be Star Wars, and yeah. I trust J.J. Abrams. That was one of the talked about it a million times, blue in the face. The first one, the biggest thing people were upset about was that it felt more like a rehash of the first Star Wars.
Oh, that was my favorite part.
Yeah, and that was the point, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, man, it's just too much of the same. We got another Death Star. We got Luke here, but it's not Luke, it's Rey, and it's a robot, and this is all very similar. And then when you get The Last Jedi, it's like, whoa, stop.
Yeah, everything is different.
Star Wars. Everything's different.
What is with all? There's too many women in this.
Right. Who's Snoke? He's nobody. They killed him halfway through. This is it's like I think that they hopefully took the criticism from the first, the second. That JJ just needs to make a good movie at this point. Don't try and cater to either side at this point. Just make a good Star Wars movie. And it looks like it. I mean, it looks beautiful in trailers. Did you see the potential runtime?
No, I didn't. If I see anything that's like last, if anything's like Rise of Skywalker, anything, I'm just like, nope, don't want to see it.
Oh,
but I'll take the runtime. I'll listen. What's the runtime?
I don't know why I lost it. I had it open.
It's got to be 2 and change.
Yeah, it's a little over 2 hours. It's shorter than Last Jedi.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, I'll get it in just a second. My computer's not a little bit slow today. Let's go on, because I gotta find it.
I'd imagine it's probably like 215, 220, something like that.
I think 215 is probably nailing it.
That'd be good. I'd be down with that. I think that's a decent length.
Yeah. 135 minutes.
215.
Yep. Bingo. Yeah, 215.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's perfect.
I guess it was just the composer, because.
Oh my God, John was talking about like it has every theme in it ever.
Yes. Yeah.
That I did see, and I was like, I'm down. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Like, I wonder how they're gonna put like Maul's theme in there, and the Duel of Fates and stuff like that. I wonder if they'll do the Duel of Fates with Kylo and Rey.
Oh, don't stop! I'm goosebumps thinking about that. Don't even.
Yeah, because that's one of the other things you can hate the prequels, but man, that music.
Yeah.
That's some of the most iconic Star Wars music. When I think of it, I think of Duel of Fates. I think of the romance stuff in Episode 2.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, I thought it was funny. His name was Don as well. Don and John Williams.
Oh yeah.
His brother's Don. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited. I don't know anything else about it. I don't know anything about it. I know that what we saw in the trailer, and the Emperor stuff, and I have the art of the Force Awakens, and it has a ton of that artwork. A lot of those things we see in the trailer is straight up taken from the artwork of making of the Force Awakens. It was basically stuff where they were like, let's just get ideas out there. And someone came out, and even in the writing, someone came up with the idea, like, what if we visit the Death Star? That's got to be like, that's got to be with the Ewoks, right?
Well, you
That's
would.
got to be Endor.
You'd think, yeah.
It was a moon. It's right there. They can see it. It had to have fallen on their planet. So maybe that's how we get some of the Ewok thing. Maybe we get the music that George cut from Return of the Jedi in this. The was it the Yub Nub, or what's the song they sung at the end, and then they removed it from the special edition.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I know what you mean, but
yeah, the celebration dance at the end. Anyway, sorry, I could go down Star Wars trail all day long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I read Master and Apprentice. I'm now going back through Thrawn because I own all three. I barely remember the first one. I got to start over.
That's fair.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm excited to see what they do after 9 too. I mean, I want to know. They did say that there's not going to be a Star Wars movie for at least 2 years.
Yeah, it's 2022 actually is going to be the next one.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Because the even number years are going to be Star Wars, the odd number years are going to be Avatar.
Right, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine because we went 10 years at some points, and we have longer at other points. So that's perfectly fine. Plus, we'll have Disney Plus, and that's where Mandalorian seems like it's going to be a series that. They already said they're working on the second season right now.
Yeah.
So we'll have Mandalorian, we'll have Obi-Wan, we'll have what's the guy from Rogue One?
Oh, you asked me too quick.
Andor.
Cassian. Yeah,
Andor?
Cassian. Yeah. Cassian Andor.
Yeah, we'll have his series, and we'll have potentially another one that they haven't really. They said there's another one in the works, but maybe that's the Obi-Wan.
I think that's the Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows, man? They could do anything at this point. But we'll have stuff there. We'll have stuff in between. But anyway, where were we? Let's continue forward.
Crisis on Infinite Earths is finally going to have the Batman.
That's cool.
We get Kevin Conroy as an old Bruce Wayne. I'm very, very here for that.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good.
So that's gonna be awesome, and I mean that on top of everybody else that's suiting up in that crossover. We're gonna have like 12 Supermen. Like it's gonna be insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're pulling no punches with the last all this build up at the end. Did you see that? What's his name? Who's the actor from Arrow?
Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell. Did you see the new show he's going to be in?
Yeah, it's a wrestling show, much to nobody's real surprise.
Yeah, he's going to be in a show called Heels. I thought that was pretty cool on Showtime, I think.
Yeah.
Stars. That's it. Yeah, so, I don't know. I thought that was cool. But anyway, some unfortunate news. Apparently Krypton was canceled after Season 2, and no Lobo spinoff either.
Right, because apparently nobody watched Season 2.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. Yeah, I don't know.
Neither did anybody else, apparently.
There'll be another Sharknado next year, which everyone will see, apparently, though. They need another Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Yep. But, Lucifer is going to get another 6 episodes, 16 in total.
Yeah, they're tacking another 6 onto the end of the last season.
Yep.
That's what happens when you're on Netflix. You make money for them, they give you more stuff to do.
Yeah. So many people, some of my friends have been telling me that they've been watching that show. I was like, yep, it's pretty good. We got all caught up. Which is neat. You take the next one, because I butchered the names here. We talked a little bit about it
Yeah, so we got some Wheel of Time casting news. Josh Stradowski cast as Randall Tor.
Yes.
Marcus Ruda cast as Perrin Ibarra.
Hmm.
Barney Harris cast as Matt Cawthon.
Hmm.
Zoe Robbins cast as Nineve, which is a name I will never be able to pronounce right until I hear it. Um,
Yeah.
and Madeline Madden, we talked about, was cast as another one that I will not be able to pronounce until I hear it. Egwene Alvere is what I'm
Hey,
going to go
Gwen.
with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Um.
this is the next thing I'm going to read. I got sucked down a rabbit hole with the Summoner series. It's a
Oh, okay.
it's a little young adult kind of trilogy, and because that is my book addiction. I love like young adult fantasy stuff. It's absolutely my favorite genre. Uh,
Right.
but I was like, I should read The Wheel of Time, and then this kind of came across my recommendations on, I think, like Goodreads. It was like, you should try this, and I was like, okay, fine. It looked to me kind of like Prodigy or something like that, and I was like, I'll try it.
Hmm.
And so I got through book 2 yesterday, because I finished book 1 yesterday morning, and I was like, I want to read the second one. So I did that, and then I started book 3, and I was like, it's 4 o'clock. I should go to bed.
Yeah.
but I'm gonna finish that and then start. Like I need to go back and just restart the Wheel of Time because
Let's do it, man.
I couldn't tell you like how far I got the first time when I read what is it, Eye of the World is the first
Eye of
one.
the world. Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how far I got because it was one of those things where I'm pretty sure I got like 1,000 pages in and was like
Yeah.
a quarter of the way done.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's
it's
you take it even bigger.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah.
so
But
I will get it's next on my list just because this is really picking up steam and I'm seeing it everywhere and I'm like, okay, I want to see what this is. And apparently some of these characters are race swapped
yeah,
from
yeah,
what I've been
yeah.
hearing.
It looks like they did that with Perrin, and Naive.
Okay.
Um, or I'm probably butchering the name too. But yeah, yeah. They in the artwork of the covers and whatnot, you can see that, and I don't know if specifically they're described that way in the book, but yeah, for you fan art and all that, they've always been Caucasian, but yeah, but the thing is, I can see it though in the casting when I saw the pictures of them, I totally see them being those characters though,
Yeah.
especially Naive. She looks dead on of what I picture in my head. Uh, I don't know. It's hard to explain, I guess, but yeah, yeah, they saw it, which was needed. You don't need this doesn't need to be Lord of the Rings again. Um, there's no reason for it either. So
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. So, but yeah, no. When every picture that I saw was like, I could totally see that. I could totally see that being that character. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Looks cool though. Yeah. So I mean, we got our Enfield 5. I guess that's what they're calling them. Because they're all from. I don't know. You've read the book. They're all from the same town,
Okay.
and it takes off from there. I'm excited. You should totally start the series. I've read Eye of the World, but by the time I get done with the second one, you'll probably be way caught up with me. I think it'd be cool if we talk about it on the show too, like a couple minutes afterwards. Some of the book because it's a long series. um, but yeah, man, I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'll work on that here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Yep. But I don't know. The first one was pretty good though. I did like Eye of the World, so
oh, good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently later in the series it gets very different though. The first one was more of like very Lord of the Rings. You can tell that's where he was getting a lot of his inspiration from. But apparently it changes later.
Sure.
Um, but yeah. So anyway, it was your Edmund Field 5. So I don't know, I thought it was cool.
Nice.
And what's her name was already casted as well. I forget.
Yeah, there was there had been one more.
Yes.
Couldn't
And
tell you.
she's not from that town. She comes into that town. There's still a few other major characters they haven't announced yet.
Okay.
Which I'm interested in. Big characters. But those are like basically they casted the hobbits, if that makes sense at this point.
Okay, fair enough. I get. Yeah, I get the.
Yes, we got the hobbits, but we haven't necessarily got like Aragorn.
Yeah.
Or we got our Gandalf basically, but we haven't really got like Legolas or Aragorn. That kind of character.
I got you. Yeah. Rosamund Pike was the other person cast.
And she's by far the biggest name. And it makes sense. She's kind of like the Gandalf character. Which I guess he was probably the biggest actor in the Lord of the Rings too.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it. But yeah. But anyway, that's awesome. I can't wait. And a lot of these people are unknown, so like their faces will become iconic with the series. So I'm excited. We got some He-Man news.
Yeah. Powerhouse Animation, who did the Castlevania anime on Netflix, is doing a sequel to the 80s He-Man cartoon. It's going to be called Masters of the Universe Revelation. It is going to be on Netflix. And it's going to be showrun and executive produced by Kevin Smith.
Oh. And is it Mark Bernard on it too?
I know that both of them had been teasing it on Fat Man on Batman. I'm assuming he's part of it.
Oh, okay. Awesome. That's good news.
But I think that's pretty badass. And I love that it's not a reboot. I mean, She-Ra for as worked as a reboot and has been doing really well on Netflix. But this one they were like, no, we're gonna keep the story going from back in the day, and I don't know, I like that.
Yeah, I mean it's Kevin Smith. He's a big nerd. He knows how passionate people are about these kind of things. Probably couldn't get anyone else in Hollywood that I would trust more with a kind of a cool series like this. Maybe like the people from Stranger Things or something. But there's going to be a lot of like we got to make sure this is right with it, which is cool. And it's anime. Like, it's such a weird combo, but I can't wait. I think it's going to be fun.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hulu is getting a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series.
Okay.
In very strange, kind of just out of nowhere news. I didn't know this was a thing anybody was even working on. But Carlton Cuse from Lost is going to showrun, and Jason Fuchs from Wonder Woman is going to be one of the writers.
Oh, okay.
So that's a pretty damn good pedigree there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talked about the Wheel of Time news already. I don't know why it has a second bullet point on here. But we got a little news about the Continental, the John Wick spinoff. It's going to take place in the early days of the Continental. So it's going to be pre-John Wick. But it probably won't come out until sometime in, I would imagine, late 2021. It won't be out before John Wick 4, which is in May of 2021.
Okay.
So we'll probably have a nice little gap there, because I imagine 4 will wrap up the story pretty well, and then the Continental will be the, hey, if you want more, watch this.
Oh, okay.
But so that'll be neat. Halo cast its Cortana, Natasha McElhorn from Californication. It's gonna premiere sometime first quarter 2021. So I would imagine probably closer to the end of that, late February, early March. But I don't know. So that'll be neat. Looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
We got a little AEW news, and I'm going to dovetail some WWE news into this.
Okay.
TNT officially announced that whatever the AEW show is going to be titled is going to premiere on October 2nd, at 8 p.m. And they've been selling out TV tapings like mad. But to beat them to the punch, starting September 18th, which is 4 weeks from tomorrow, NXT will start airing at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays on the USA Network.
Rest in peace, apparently.
Yeah, because as soon as...
Apparently Vince is going to get his hands in it.
It's so long NXT.
Yeah. Are they still going to be filming here in Orlando?
It's still going to be at Full Sail, yeah.
Man, time to get on TV.
It's going to be... And that's the thing, they're saying it's going to be live every week.
Wow, really?
That's according to the press release.
I need to get some tickets.
Yeah, especially since now they're going to be at a premium. But yeah, they're still going to do it at Full Sail Live. Yeah. Which I think is smart because it's always going to be a packed crowd. It's always going to be a very vocal crowd.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fun, and I mean, you've been there, you know, that place is a fun place.
It's a lot of fun, and I hope that, Triple H still has to, I get for the opening they're going to do Vince McMahon, but it's got to be Triple H's show still.
He can't run 3 shows, plus the pay-per-views, plus the live events, plus the XFL all at once. He can't. Not even Vince McMahon himself can do that.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
It's a stretch. It's one stretch too far.
It doesn't even have to be running. All he has to do is just say no, or yes, or do this. Does that make sense? Like one little thing.
Yeah, but Vince can't do that though. We've seen this time and time again. He can't just come in and have an idea. He comes in 3 hours before showtime and rewrites the whole damn show.
You're right.
But
man,
I mean, I get it. It's his product, but by the same token, he's wrong way more often than he's right, and it's costing him. The reason NXT is so great is because it's allowed to do what the performers in NXT are allowed the freedom that mainstream stars in the Attitude Era were allowed.
Right.
They get the freedom to do their thing and find their character and hone their craft.
Well, now that it's going to be on television, I do hope. I think at first I was kind of, whenever we heard that some of the stars were going to be going back to NXT, there was always this kind of stigma to that, like they're going backwards.
But I don't think that was as much a stigma. I think more fans were excited about that than anything.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think at all like that anymore.
Yeah.
I would be even more excited if we saw some of the bigger names just show up on NXT, like AJ Styles, and he's just like, I'm here now. This is the house that AJ Styles. You know what I mean? Like, he's someone who could do that, and no one's going to tell him, like, that he's making a move down the ladder.
No, and especially if we're going to have, Raw on USA on Mondays, SmackDown on Fox on Fridays, and NXT on USA on Wednesdays, all in prime time, they're going to have 3 shows. They're going to try to make NXT an equal brand, which is what they've been saying it is for a while. And depending on who you ask, it either is or it isn't.
But at the same time, I don't want it to be flooded with them or anything. Like, I don't want them to overshadow a lot of the new talent. But a couple, just put in there to mix things up, I think would be exciting.
Yeah. No,
it would totally be helpful for them because they're let's be real. A lot of these people in NXT, they're not brand new. They've been in the wrestling business for a long time. They just have been in maybe independent, circles.
Yeah.
So that's why AJ Styles went straight into the WWE because he has been around for a long time. Samoa Joe went there. But he could have totally went into Raw without going to NXT. But that's what I'm saying, I guess, is I'd like to see them show up and be part of that show as well.
Yeah.
But not overshadow. Like, still give room for the people there to grow because that brand is strong.
No, I like the way Tyler Breeze did it. He came down. He had a program with Velveteen Dream. He injected some of that old Prince Pretty star power into it. It helped elevate Dream when Breeze put him over.
Right.
It was a big moment of like, hey, remember Tyler Breeze? And people went, hell yeah, we remember Tyler Breeze.
Yep.
And it was like, oh my god, there's still a market for this guy. Yeah, and he can go, and he cuts fantastic promos. One of the most vicious lines was about when Velveteen Dream put "Call Me Up Vince" on the back of his tights that one takeover.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're taking that selfie, and Breeze goes, "Oh, and Dream, when you put your number on your pants and no one calls you up, it's because they're not interested."
Right.
The crowd just was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we saw people like Sami Zayn and Nakamura. They were crazy big on NXT.
Rusev, put Rusev back on NXT. God, that's.
Is he even still with the company?
Yeah, he's still there. I know you wouldn't know it, but yeah, he's still there.
Is he? Do you think he hasn't been on TV in a while, right?
Not in months.
They got to be going to NXT. I mean, they got to be going to AEW.
I don't know when their contracts are up. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
But nah,
Did they announce it last? I didn't watch Raw.
They didn't actually announce it last night. They teased a big announcement, but they didn't. They actually sent it out in an email this morning.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm really not.
That's really stupid. They should have announced that on the big, like, we got a big announcement, even though everyone knows what they're doing. But that should have been a big deal. And then they should have somehow,
They could have had the Street Profits do it, man.
Yeah.
Fucking God, I love the Street Profits. As soon as they debuted, I was like, this gimmick is ridiculous, and I am here for it.
Right. Like, they don't have to go full invasion or something like that, but there should have been some inclusion.
I would kill for an invasion angle, and especially if NXT is gonna jump on before Survivor Series. Hello. I would love
I'm completely with you. I would have loved that. I'm just saying they didn't even have to do that.
No.
There should have been some inclusion and not an email.
Right.
In the morning. That's so stupid.
God, can you just dream with me here for a minute, okay? Here is a tag team title match or not even title, but just here's a tag team triple threat for you for Survivor Series. Pick any two members of the Undisputed Era versus Woods and Big E versus the Club.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And that leaves you Styles, Kofi. I mean, that's a fatal four-way I would kill to see. Styles, Kofi, Rollins, and Adam Cole. Yes. Yes, in a heartbeat. God.
Yeah.
Or just the three main champs, Rollins, Kofi, and Cole. And then have who's IC champ now? I forgot already. It's it's Nakamura. God, isn't it Nakamura?
I think so.
Yes. God, could you imagine there's a triple threat for you? Velveteen Dream, AJ Styles, and Shinsuke Nakamura?
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, imagine a King of the Ring with these people. Johnny, against Daniel Bryan or something. Like, there's so many dream matches you could.
I would absolutely love to see like an NXT invasion interrupt King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see that bust up the final.
And that's so easy to do.
Yes.
This is something that you have the toys. They're sitting right there in the box.
Yes. So
it baffles me that there's no one there going, we can, this could be huge. We could shake things up and get people excited. And, it's just so dumb. I don't know why they're not doing that. It feels like AEW has none of these toys. They have just a couple, and I feel like they get so much press and news. WWE has them, and they're just like, nope, we're going to do the same matches every week.
Clash of Champions is September 15th. And damn it, it's in Charlotte, and I hate myself for not buying a ticket. But
oh yeah,
if they
they're doing King of the Ring right now, right?
Yeah, they're doing the tournament now. The finals, the finals are going to be at Clash of Champions.
Oh, that's so dumb. Why don't they do the King? Okay, refresh my wrestling.
It used to be a one-night deal.
That's so cool. Why don't they do that?
Because Vince hates tournaments.
Oh my God! But week after, I don't know.
I know. But here's the thing. That's how you suddenly get the crowd involved and interested in NXT starting the following Wednesday. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 3 days after Clash of Champions, NXT debuts on USA. Have them interrupt the King of the Ring final. And I don't even care who. Bring down anybody to come and screw everything up.
Yeah.
God, I would just have at the end of the night, just have the Undisputed Era come down and beat the crap out of everybody.
Yep.
It'd be awesome. Just I would love for them to have just a complete invasion with NXT talent.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be fun, but they're not going to do that.
No, unfortunately they're not.
What about is NXT still going to be on the network the day after? Or something like that?
Day after, exactly 24 hours after. It'll be Thursdays at 8:00 on the network.
What about NXT UK? Is that going to be on television?
No, not so far as we know. Which does not surprise me.
Okay, I'm surprised it's not over in the UK though. I'm surprised they don't put that on on Fox over there or something.
Well,
I'm surprised this is not going on Fox to begin with.
That's what surprises me, really.
I bet Fox is probably not happy that they just did this deal, and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, some of our best wrestling is going to be on the USA Network."
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I feel like some of the best stories is all behind the scenes, and one day we'll hear about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we gotta go soon, so we gotta go through the list here.
Marvel's working on an what was it? A-Force, right? Was the female Avengers comic they did a while back?
Yeah, the A-Force. Yep.
Yeah, they're working on that kind of a premise for a show on ABC.
Cool.
Because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is ending next season, so
yeah, they've kind of set a little bit of that up in the movies as well. A lot of the female characters will get together and we got this. So I wonder if they're going to use some of the main characters from the movies. They can't though; it's TV shows, so I can't imagine they get those big actresses in it. I'm curious what characters they're going to do. They could totally do She-Hulk. I think She-Hulk was the main protagonist in that series. Medusa.
Yeah.
They get Spider-Woman. They get a lot of different characters. There's a lot of people to pick from.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah. And what if we get Miss Marvel in that? That would be amazing.
I'm down. I'm totally down.
Oh yeah. All right, sorry, go ahead.
But speaking of Marvel and Spider People, biggest news out of Gamescom, I think so far, is that Sony bought Insomniac.
Oh yeah, I mean, Xbox was like, "Hey, here's some war footage," and then Sony's like, "Oh, we bought Insomniac."
Yeah, it's they made Ratchet and Clank, they made Spider-Man. Those were pretty good exclusives. We're just gonna buy the studio.
Yes. Oh yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, they've been working together forever now, so
yeah.
This makes perfect sense.
We've got the PS Plus games for the month. Mixed bag. The Wipeout Omega collection is great. I mean, I love Wipeout.
Yeah.
And then Sniper Elite 4, fine. You know.
Yeah. I mean, if people that really like those kind of sniper games, that's for you. So, but yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag compared to Xbox.
Game Pass, they announced a slate for Game Pass this month. Age of Empires Definitive Edition should be out by now. Which
is insane. That's such a good game.
Yeah. So should Devil May Cry 5. Yeah, I know, right?
I feel like Xbox is you know what? There's a big game show. I don't know why Sony doesn't do this when E3 hits, when Gamescom, when all these big shows hit. That should be their biggest. You can play these now on our system for free this month.
It's because PS Now sucks.
Oh God!
I'm sorry, but they only allow downloads of limited titles, and most of them are not really great ones you want to hang on to.
Xbox is doing it right.
Yes, they absolutely are.
Xbox has everything right, and we're waiting for those first-party games to come out, and that's really the only thing that's holding them back. But you know, that there's nothing they can do about that necessarily this second, because they've already done it. They've already got all these studios. They've already announced all these games in the works.
Right.
So it's already done. The work put in. We just have to wait until the next generation. But everything else they've done is they've turned everything else around.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I look at this list, I'm just everything else on Xbox I'm so excited about, or I would be if I had that. And I look at PlayStation, and I'm like, Wipeout, Super Elite 4. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Also coming out, Ape Out and Kingdom Come Deliverance are out on the 22nd.
and
The
Stellaris, right?
and Stellaris, yeah, today as
Yeah.
well.
Jesus.
I
Sorry, go ahead.
know.
Like that's a huge game. Like that's a big what they're called, what, four anyway, the 4X games. So
For
like, you know what the 4X games are?
no,
So it's a strategic game. Um, where, like, you ever seen the YouTube videos where it shows like a star cluster, and then you have this, you have that, and you got to map out everything. You got to make sure you have enough gas from getting from planet to, like, it's one of those kind of games. Like,
okay, so it's kind of kind of Eve in that way,
oh well, Eve's very different. Eve's its own animal,
right? But
yes,
there's an element to that in Eve. I think I've seen.
Yes. Like this is the game that people mod the hell out of for like Star Trek and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Like endless space. Like it's civilization times 4, basically. I think it's called 4X because it's explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's you can colonize. You can get so lost in these games. It's insane. But yes. Go ahead, sorry.
Now, the 27th, Bard's Tale 4, the director's cut.
Yep.
On the 30th, Blair Witch Project, and then September 5th, we get Dead Cells.
Yeah, that's funny. And also some of the other big news is that the Switch is going to be getting Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah, they dropped a massive, like, that's something,
Yeah.
I didn't list them all here, but they dropped a video that's like, here's all the indie games that are coming to Switch, and it's a freaking huge lineup.
Oh yeah, it's massive. So go look at this. It's called the Indie Works. It's on YouTube, and it's a ton of indie games. Indie World, I'm sorry. And one of the biggest things at the end was like, oh yeah, by the way, we're getting Ori and the Blind Forest, which I think is awesome. I want Xbox and Nintendo. I would love a day where Xbox exclusives come out a year later on the Switch, and even Nintendo exclusives come out a year later on the Xbox. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I doubt they'd probably do the first party like Mario or whatnot, but man, why not? Why not? To me that makes sense. I wish PlayStation would do that. I wish you could get God of War on the PlayStation, and then a year later the people with Xbox can get it. Why not? Why would you not want your buddy who bought an Xbox not enjoy that game? As a consumer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it if you're like a crazy fanboy that you want to play Versus, but who cares at this point?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I would love that day. And we're getting a little bit closer to that because we're getting stuff like Ori and the Blind Forest and Cuphead on Xbox. I'm sorry, on the Switch. I'm wondering what Nintendo is going to do for them, if that makes sense.
Right.
I'm just curious. That would be awesome if But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, we got to something that we called a while back. You said was going to happen. There's gambling laws in like 54 countries plus that have blocked all kinds of the GTA 5 DLC now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you called it. You were like, yeah, this is going to happen.
Yep. Yeah, there's no, yeah. The thing I'll give them is that they're just being flat out honest about it. So these other people, like, did you see the news with what is it? Is it Respawn and Apex Legends?
No. What's happening now?
So it's bad on both sides.
Okay.
Apparently they had their season 2, and they had an event within season 2, which is another season essentially, basically where you collect things. They're like it's so exploitative to get stuff. Like, for example, you would have to spend $170 to get an axe, and you can't just buy the axe. You have to buy all this other stuff. It's one of those where it's a fine line of this is all cosmetic based, blah 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 blah. It's a free game, but at the same time, all of their events and everything, it's super exploitive when it comes to. You can't just buy something. And the devs were on Reddit, and their discourse just went into, it was just so bad to where the devs started calling them asshats. They said, in quotes, remember the day where gamers were not asshats that felt they deserved, blah, 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 blah. It was one of those, like, totally unprofessional You don't get on a forum and start calling them. At the same time, of course, people on the forum were saying vile things to them and calling them names too.
Right.
It was one of those where like someone has to be an adult. You can't as a dev go on a forum and start calling your fan base asshats and entitled. Anyone who works for a big company knows that you can't do that. You can't. That's fireable for most positions within a company.
Yeah.
That's just common sense. That's how business works. And so it was bad on both ends. It made people who play the game look terrible because there is a lot of entitlement, but it also made the devs look really bad too, because it's like, we do remember those days. We also remember where we were sold a $60 product, or maybe 80 at some point, but we weren't nickel and dime the entire time.
Exactly.
Remember those days where a game was complete when it came out?
Yeah.
And I get it, it's 2019 and things are different, but you can't play that remember when game when you're doing when you're just doing the exact same thing. It's a different problem. So yeah, it was just a whole issue on Reddit, and it blew up, and Polygon ran an article, and people got upset on both ends. But it's bad. It's a bad look for both sides, if that makes sense. Because I get it, they got to make a profit. Their game is free, so they got to make a profit somehow. But it was one of those like, okay, we'll just sell the item. Just sell the item then.
Yeah.
Don't make it where you have to spend $170 for an axe. That's silly. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
And last bit of news, THQ Nordic has talked about that Volition is deep in development on a new Saints Row game.
Yep, that's cool. Saints Row games are great.
So, very excited, much happy about that.
Yeah.
Be curious to see where that goes, though. Is it going to be like, is it going to be a Saints Row 5, or are they just going to kind of start over?
Right.
Which I feel like is kind of what they would have to do at this point.
Oh, yeah. Now, I see this Friday, I'm seeing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood come hell or high water.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. We'll talk about it. There's no doubt that's happening. So I've been hyped to see that movie for a couple weeks now. I'm definitely going to go see it. You want to talk about SummerSlam real fast?
It was a thing. It was like a month ago. I'll tell you what, though. It was a decent show. It was fine. The main event really delivered. Rollins won that crowd back over. He worked his ass off in that match, and Brock made him look like an absolute beast slayer. And that's how you build a champion. You don't have him try to talk about how cool he is, because that never works. You have him get in the ring and do what Seth did. Like, that was how you do that.
Good, because he was getting embarrassed for a couple weeks there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was getting tossed around like a ragdoll for a little bit.
Well, and he got tossed around in the match too. But it's absolutely like one of his best matches. Yeah, no question.
That's good. Well, now him and spoiler alert, him and Braun now have the tag team championship. So, what are they going to do? Like a New Day versus them? Wait, because doesn't New Day have the tag team champions as well on SmackDown?
Yes, I can't remember.
Both shows now have a champion with a tag team champion and the top title on the show.
Well, yes and no, because at least with the New Day, it's a third member.
True. It really should be the club versus New Day for the... Well, I guess we talked about this earlier. It's not Clash of the Champions, apparently.
Yeah, it's Survivor Series.
It's Survivor Series that I was thinking of, where the two shows go against each other. Do you think do you think AJ gets the championship and it's the club versus New Day?
No,
that would make sense.
No, because AJ's U.S. champ.
Yeah, well, he gives it to Seth or something. You think Seth's going to have a long run?
I hope so. About damn time.
You don't think Braun's going to turn on him and then turn that into a...
I don't think Braun's going to do like the cheesy heel turn of like, I bet you never saw this coming. It's going to be... It's going to be more two-man power trip, but without the giant implosion. Kind of deal of like...
Elizabeth. Where's Alexa Bliss?
Oh, gosh.
And I say that just because that was his tag team partner.
Yeah, but she's her own tag team champion now.
No, I know, but what... I don't know. That's true, she is, which is cool. I want to see Braun in the main title picture. It's been too... Man, I feel like they teased it for so long, and then they just backed out completely with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he deserves it, man. He puts in so much work. So does Seth, of course, but he's had it so many times. I want to see Braun get a win with it. Well, no. What if what's his face comes back? Who's the other tag team champion with Braun?
Nicholas.
Nicholas. What if the next pay per view they do like a dramatic turn to the audience and it's Nicholas just upset?
I would wonder how he got off from school.
That's true, man. That would be hilarious. I don't know. Sorry, we're just stream writing here for the WWE, but that would be funny. Like that would be, and then Braun, they cut back to Braun, and he's just like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
And that's entirely something WWE would do. That's
I
the sad
love when the
part.
WWE gets silly, though. I love when they get weird. They do it a lot with New Day, and I think that New Day, for whatever reason, they have so much more control over that. I think because they saw New Day, they saw how the audience was reacting to them, and they were like, "What you're doing is working. Just go.
Yeah.
Just do it." And when they get goofy, like when Big E's eating pancakes and shoving stuff in his mouth and getting all fun, that's some of my funnest stuff. And I think Braun, he can get goofy, and it's some of the best stuff. I don't know. Sorry, sideways with that, but sorry about the last few weeks. We'll be back next week. We're gonna see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Maybe we'll start talking about some Eye of the World stuff soon. I'm excited. But yeah, we should have some news from D23. Hopefully we'll talk about some Star Wars and some Marvel stuff and whatever their live action stuff coming up. Make sure you go to our Facebook, We Geek Podcast, our Twitter, at We Geek Podcast, at The Logan Win, at Adam V Step. Gmail, wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. We are on all the podcast services, including Spotify. Anything I'm missing?
Nah, I think that does it.
All right, we'll see you guys later, Captain.
Captain.